Hey everybody, Bree from Massively OP here. I am doing today another quick video on my Star Wars Galaxies Legends houses on the Omega server. I did one of these videos, let's see, I guess that was last summer, where I did a whole article about housing in MMOs and how I like to do it and little tricks I like to use. And at the end of that, I had a video that just had a quick look through my actual houses as they are on this particular rogue server, which is Star Wars Galaxies, but an NGE version of the game. And since then, I've completely overhauled everything. All my whole setup, my everything, literally in the game. I don't have any of the buildings, I don't think, except for the factories. So, and a lot of that is because of the Bespin expansion that just came out as I'm recording this. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, so I thought it would be fun to just do that real quick and show off what I've got and what I've been working on so hard. Obviously, if you don't like housing or Star Wars or any of that stuff, this will not be of any use to you. But if you are a weirdo like me, then keep watching because we're going to dive in. So I am still in the same location. I haven't actually moved to another planet. I considered this. I fully admit it because I haven't actually been in a city. I don't actually live in a player city right now, and player cities get some really nice perks, as well as, the fact that you get to live in a player city with tons of other people. I live outside of the mining outpost on Dantooine, which is actually pretty close to where I lived on live for a while too, and I like this spot because it means you're less than a click away from a starport, not just a shuttleport, but a starport, which means easier hops around the rest of the galaxy, which, if you do a lot of trading or moving back and forth for whatever reason, that's actually really useful. If you don't, if you're a town lover and you just hang out in town all the time, that doesn't really make a big difference to you. But personally, I like to be able to be in a spot where that's easy for me to get to as well as for my customers. So for now, I've stayed put. I'm still in my same identical spot, but I changed the actual buildings. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, I knew I was going to want one of these diners. So let me swim over here. I'm on this little island. I should point this out. This is really cool. In the game, when you put down a camp, a temporary camp, it will take whatever terrain you're on and make it bigger. So this island is usually really small, like out in the middle of the water here. But when you put down a camp, it expands it. So I get like my own island. So I often put a camp there because then people can shuttle over from other parts of the planet really easily. And as I'm running over here, you can see I have all these little pieces up. These are called Storyteller props. I don't think did I talk about this in the last video? I don't remember. But this is a thing that they added, SOE added pretty late, relatively late in the game, I'll say, that allows people to put down objects in the world temporarily. They usually only last like a day. I think you can do some upgrades and get them to last longer, but it's like something like 20 hours or something. So you can decorate outside of your buildings, or you can set up quests. A lot of people use them for quests or like, party night and or whatever. I've seen all kinds of things done with them. I've also seen some entire player cities where they just deck the place out. And to be fair, it could get kind of pricey. Putting some of these down probably costs me, I don't know, 20, 30, 40K a day, something like that. So I don't always do it. But I did change all this. So this is actually relevant to this video because the last time I had a whole bunch of like Tatooine sandstone gates and whatnot. I still had this stage, but I've changed it around a little bit to make it look like a dock. But personally, I love doing this because then when you're sailing across from the mining outpost and you're driving across, all these little pieces of architecture pop in. And it looks really cool. It looks, I don't know, to quote Justin's least favorite word, bespoke. It looks like intentional and special and not just like houses planted down on a rando planet, which is really what they are because I'm not in a city. So anyway, I got the diner with Bespin. The diner was originally an SOE building that they added. Oh, it was one of the TCG items. And I had two of them on live, believe it or not. I had one in Brea and one in Starsider. And I really, really like them. They're a really cool building. It's all one room. You'll see when I get in there. It's meant to look like Dex's Diner from Attack. Is that Attack of the Clones? You know what I mean. The second prequel. It's on the inside. It's not the best. It's not my favorite. I'm kind of cranky about that. So years ago, I made a mod that changes what it looks like on the inside. Anybody can download this mod. It's on my old blog. So if you are interested in this or you just want to see what it looks like, you can still get it. But right now, like no one else can see it, or unless you've got this mod for some unknown reason, which I don't know why you would, because again, the diner hasn't been in the game, so there'd be no point to installing the mod. But I have it. So I've left this closed, like you can't actually come in and look around, because I thought it would look kind of weird because I left some of the walls open, like to view, and I didn't want people to come in and be like, is this lady like really bad at decorating? Because what's going on here? Because normally the interior looks silver and red and whatnot. I'll post some pictures maybe of exactly what that looks like. Um, Actually, I can do that now. Okay, there's a good shot of what the mod looks like, and up here on the upper left hand corner you can see the original. It's just, I don't like the textures. I don't like the fact that it's mismatchy. It looks like a retro space diner. Don't get me wrong, I just don't like it. So personally, I use the Java light textures. And here's actually a shot of when I was first starting to decorate it. You can see what it looks like with all my textures in place and a couple of other little pieces before I had really gotten moving. But eventually, I got it to this state right here. So I thought I would do a quick walkthrough, again, because this is not going to be accessible to the public and probably never will be. We'll see. So I basically went through, and since this is going to be my workshop, I needed all of my resources in here, as well as my crafting stations and all that good stuff. The diner is actually really useful to chefs, which is what my main character is, because it adds an additional experimentation bonus. So I really like having it. It's why I wanted it in the first place, but I also really like how it looks. It's a really big single room building. It doesn't have a hallway. That's one of the things I did not love about my old house, and a lot of the old houses in the game, was they would build in these extra hallways when you first go in. Not only does it take up space, but it requires you to run back and forth like twice before you get anywhere in the house. So that always kind of drove me crazy, but I really liked the medium Tatooine, the rest of the layout, so I kind of just rolled with it. But now I've just changed everything around. These kinds of buildings are just way easier, way quicker to get into for me as well as customers. So I basically have all of this set up for resources. There's really nothing else for it. If you open one of these up, you can see what I've got. And so when I'm crafting, I just run in and grab what I'm looking for. That's pretty easy. You know, harvesters and that sort of thing. It's almost entirely crafting on this side. And I thought this was really cool. This is a trick I used in my old house, where I would use things like, this is the Ewok Festival of Love Armoire, and if you do it in like a dark brown color and then kind of nest it, you can make it look like it's part of the wall instead of, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even click. So that's one of the tricks I love. And then you can nest a different kind of piece of furniture inside of it. I highly recommend this for games that support this, but especially for Star Wars, because you can mess with stuff a lot. You can flip it upside down. You can rotate it around. You're not stuck with the original piece. The only thing you can't do is scale in and out. I really, really wish you could. I think that would be, Legends, are you listening? I want to be able to rescale things to make them smaller and bigger, like perfectly proportionally, but I think that would just be so great. But anyway, this is pretty much where I just stand when I first come in, and then I don't have to run. I'm like right here. All the stuff I need is right here, and then I can just run back out to my harvesters. But I wanted the rest of the building to look pretty, because this was kind of taking the place of my cantina. This and the other building to a lesser extent. My old building that I previewed last year had my crafting area in it, as well as like a big cantina room, and then like a bioengineering room, and then like a lounge area, and a whole separate like space, two different places actually for like performing and stuff. I don't know why. I mean, I did that because I really wanted to have my old building back, and it was really close to what I had in life. But the reality is, most of my guild members do not play this game. They're never going to take advantage of this cantina. It was just a cool thing, and it was kind of taking up lots, and it was just, I don't know, I was over. We'll get to that in a second. But for now, I wanted to actually put some of those cantina pieces back in here, just because I like having that space for myself, because I do have an entertainer character who mostly buffs, but I also wanted to be able to use those same pieces over again. So that's exactly what I did. Let me see if I can, get rid of the UI here while I'm going around. So these pieces, I should show this off too. This is a really neat piece. I don't know when they added this. Do you guys remember that Ralph McQuarrie art that has the picture of the dude walking on the platform with I'll have to find this and post it. But anyway, that's what this is. This is exactly like that. I'm sure Star Wars has used it at some point, but this is the first time I've seen it in the game. I don't know where it came from, and I really like it. I think it was before Bespin though. So I have a couple of these, and that's what I'm using to kind of divide the room in half. Just so that there's like some blockage, but then there's also little doorways through, so it feels like the same room, but you've also got some, I don't want to say privacy because that sounds weird. It's all my characters. They're in a locked room. It's already private, but you know what I'm saying. So I have that all decorated to look like a wall. Then you can scooch through, and yes, I have managed to bring back the hot tub. Yes, it actually still works. I think I renamed it Wading Pool. I can't remember, but you can still sit down here. Hot tub. And I've changed it around a little bit. Obviously, it's not the same. One of the things I did in this building that's very different from the old building is I removed red. I know it's going to sound weird, but I had a lot of red punctuating the blue and the pink and the green and the brown. And I changed that around, and I think it changes the whole tone of this building without having the things like the Jabba's drapes and rugs. I don't know. It was just a thing I wanted to try, and I really like how the new color palette came out, even though I really like red and blue together. But in this case, I think it was good that I swapped it out. So anyway, hot tub still there, still accessible. I can still craft in my hot tub, but it's back in this little nook area instead of taking up space in the main room. And main room actually looks like a cantina, and I used some of the same tricks I used in my old building where I did this thing with here, I'll show you what I mean. These are plants. They're potted trees, but they're flipped upside down and messed around so the actual tree is under the building and you can't see it. But these guys sit up top and nest up top, and while there's some greenery, which I really love, it also kind of looks like little, I don't know, there's something so Star Warsy about that, having these little nook areas. So that's exactly what I did. Recreated almost really the identical kind of space, right down to the rugs on the walls and like the backsplash and everything. And I want to show this off too because this is brand new. They added this with Bespin. They have a ton of these signs. I love them so much. They're just, I don't know. There's something so very Narshada about it, and Narshada. Sorry, we got to get the pronunciations of fake Star Wars IP stuff. Anyway, that's new. What else is new? These guys are new. These Tatooine planters. They are so pretty. I love them flipped upside down, especially. Can I do it here? Yeah, like that. Oh, they just look really cool, and I have a whole bunch of them around here, and they're really, really, really cheap and easy to get. So it's not like it's going to be a thing that's hard for new players or whatever to get, where some of these, it's bunting is not cheap. Those are many, many years of collecting bunting. So if you flip around, you can see I've also got a little space set up with my Nulargan for my entertainer. I found a way to use the Tusken Raider stairs that I actually like, unlike in my last house. I love this. I think it looks so chic, so cute. It's definitely a little cluttered. And unfortunately, because of the way objects in this game work, as I spin around, the objects just kind of pop in front of the camera, and that's a little annoying, so I apologize. I'll stop twitching here. But overall, I just really like it. I like how it's like cozy and it's a cool place for the characters to hang out, especially if they're AFK or whatever. And because you can log in 3 characters at a time, I do that a lot. I have a couple of characters logged in and I'm not necessarily playing them. I just want quick access to them if I flip back. You can also see better the ground here. And again, it's not the best texture in the world. I just like it better than the original. So you can see that. You can see some of the area up above where I didn't cover it with rugs. You can see what that looks like. It's like a sandstone kind of look with that pattern. But I just like that so much better than the original. I don't know. I'm really happy with this. I think it came out really cute and cozy, and I'm kind of sorry I can't share it because of that mod. But anyhow, that's the diner. That is my workshop. That is where I'm going to be hanging out when I'm actually crafting stuff. Now, the other building, we will go down and have a look-see here. All my factories are still back there, and this is not a real sandcrawler. That's also a Storyteller object. You can do things like bring in ships and like put them down and make it look like you've got a whole ship thing or banthas or whatever. Storyteller is so cool. All right, so this building, this is actually what took the place of my Tatooine medium house. It is a Commando Bunker. I don't know if there are any on the market right now. I occasionally see them. I'm pretty sure you get them with PvP tokens, so they're slightly more rare, but since they're small and not like it's super high demand, I don't know. The market is kind of weird for them. I paid too much money for it, but I had one of these on live too, and I never quite knew what to do with it. I think I had turned it into a garden, and here I had done the same thing. I know you guys in the podcast heard me say I was so excited when I finally bought it, and then I did nothing with it because I didn't know what to do with it. And so I am such a fool, I swear. I just didn't have a plan. And honestly, I felt saddled by that other Tatooine house. I felt like that was my thing, and of course that was going to be my thing. And my husband here, I even posted it. My my husband was the one who nudged me along and was like, "You don't need to be saddled by a building in a video game, Bree. What are you doing? You should try something new." And I was like, I guess I can try something new. So that's exactly what I did. So I took this guy, I pulled everything out of the old building, put this guy in its place. Now this is my actual shop. And you can see what it looks like. Just before it all loads, you can see it's like a gray interior. There we go. And now it's all loaded in, and I've completely excised the gray interior, so it doesn't look anything like that anymore. One of my favorite tricks, by the way, is these guys. They're large Mustafarian tables. If you flip them upside down and move them up one tick, they turn into wooden flooring. Check it. I love this. I used this all over my houses on live because I hated the way the floors look. So I did that again here. I think it looks so cute. And then of course I've used a lot of my other tricks. So let me walk through it. I've got trees in here. I've got my vendor for my chef goods off to the side in like a tiny little bar area, and I've got my other vendors like my armor vendor and my tailor vendor and my droid engineer. That's pretty much what I do craft wise. Those are all off to the right. I love the new signs. Again, these guys came straight with Bespin, totally worth the splurge. I think they're adorable. There's tons of them too. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of them. I only got a couple of them. Over on the right here, I made it look like, I don't know, like an internet cafe. I don't know what I was thinking exactly, but I've been wanting to try this trick. I love this little hole in it thing flipped on its side because it looks like a cute little desk, and then you can flip around the monitor screen. I had one of these in my old house, and I just thought, I'm going to use one of my tricks. I'm going to do the replication thing because everything simple looks better when there's more of them. And that's absolutely true here. So I built that entire computer setup, and you can't quite see, or maybe you can, but each one of these is actually a bin that holds 75 items and bags. It's one of my favorite objects in the game because they're containers that hold other containers. Normally 50 slot containers can't be held that way. So anyway, that's actually useful storage back there. It's not going to waste at all. It's literally holding my stuff. And then I reused this trick up top of using, what do you call them? They're rustic bookcases. Yeah. Lots of those with a flipped around painting. I love this trick. I didn't invent this, by the way. I saw somebody do this on live, and I was like, gotta steal it. And so I've stolen it again. It's been like 10 years. I stole it again. I love that. All right. This side, I made into more of like a cantina, but it's like really small. Like there's only so much space here, and I really wanted to be able to let the window shine through. Can you see in the day? Yeah, you can. There are windows up top, right? Oh, here's the Tatooine planters again. Totally love those. So there are windows up top, but there's also windows along the side, and you can literally see out. And you can see in once you've loaded too, so that's really cool. I closed them off on this side, but I wanted you to be able to see them here. I just think that's so cute. So I've covered the walls to make it cozier and darker and not have that like kind of gray bunker look, because that's what this is. It's a bunker. I didn't want it to look like that. So again, I used some of my tricks. I used the pink lighting. The pink lighting always makes everything look warmer and cozier. I used a fountain. It's the usual stuff. And then my cantina chairs. I'm nuts for the cantina chairs. So got a bunch of those all squared away in there. Same thing with the bookcases up top. And then, can you see this guy? Yeah, you can. Little trick here, flipping these guys upside down. Can I get to it? Yeah. Fireplace, flipped upside down. Those just look really cool. I love this. And you can't actually see the fireplace anymore, the wood part. And this is another new thing that they added with Bespin. No, not you, potted tree. Come on. I will get to it. There it is, the Bespin underground board. tons of these things. Again, this wasn't that expensive. This was only 25 of the, what is it? The unrefined Chibana gas. So that's, not that expensive. Anybody can do this. Heck, if you're good at PvE, you can just get the coins yourself instead of actually buying it like I did. So that is pretty much what I'm using as my shop. It is strictly one room. And like you can see, it doesn't require you to run like back and forth in a hallway. Oh, that drove me crazy. You just go in and boom, you're right there. And I think this is going to be really useful to customers, and it's definitely already been useful to me. I feel like even though I'm switched to 2 buildings, I mean, I had more buildings before, but I only used the one for both my crafting and my shop. Now that I'm switched to 2 buildings, I still feel like I'm running around less. It doesn't make any sense, but I think that I am, because I feel like I'm wasting less time running back and forth in those hallways. It really was kind of crazy. You have to run up the stairs, run all the way down the hallway, run all the way across the cantina, all the way back across just to get to the crafting area. It was just silly. Anyhow. All right, fam. This has been Bree at Massively OP. I'm going to sign off and stop talking your ear off. I hope you enjoyed this look into my weirdo buildings and this weird little slice of MMORPG life that just persists no matter how many times you sunset and kill this game and ruin it while it's still alive. Somebody out there is going to make a server that is worth living on and worth hanging out on and worth decorating in, and I just absolutely freaking love it. So thank you to the Legends crew for Bespin and for keeping this game alive, and thank you to everyone who tunes in to watch my silly videos. Later, everybody!